Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matrirupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namah. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namah. My humble pranams to revered Swami Sarvalokananda Ji Maharaj and dear devotees, my good wishes and prayers for all of you. At the very outset, I should thank Sarvalokananda Ji Maharaj, who has accorded this invitation to me to come here and talk on this extremely important and relevant subject of Shakti Puja. And truly speaking, I have to be very open about it. I feel little diffident, little nervous talking about this sitting in front of the image of Ma Durga. It's a great good fortune that some good karmas I have done, that I have got this chance to sit on that very platform where Ma Durga has been worshipped, is being worshipped, and I have to talk about her glory. You see, this Navaratri is a national festival. It is a celebration of the victory of good over evil. Now, when we are talking about the victory over evil, the most important thing that we need is Shakti. Without the Shakti, nothing can happen. This is what our great Shastras have told us. Swami Vivekananda says, without Shakti, there is no regeneration for the world. So what is this role of Shakti in this whole, this phenomenon of creation? If you just look, it is something wonderful. Our Upanishads, they have declared that the ultimate truth is one without second, Para Brahman. This is the ultimate experience of all the rishis from the time of the Upanishads, and then coming down to, say, Bhagwan Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, coming down to Bhagwan Shri Shankaracharya, who was one of the greatest preachers of Advaita, and coming down to Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. All of them were unanimously teaching that the ultimate reality is one without a second, Brahman. Then naturally the question comes, if Brahman alone is existing and nothing else is existing, what is this most mysterious world which we are experiencing? How do we account for it? That is the question. This wonderful creation which we are seeing, a creation in which we find human beings, animals, plants, and it's most mysterious and mind-boggling. How do we explain this? Where there is only Brahman, how is that we are seeing and experiencing this most mysterious creation? Here comes the great phenomenon called Shakti. Amazing thing. About the Shakti, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says one thing very beautifully. You might have heard about Saundarya Lahari. It's one of the important texts dealing with Shakta Parampara, Shakti Parampara. There Bhagwan Shankaracharya says that, I will just quote that verse in Sanskrit and then I will translate it into English. Shankaracharya says, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shaktum Prabhavitum Nachedevam devo na kushala spanditumapi. What does it mean? Shankaracharya says, Shiva means Parabrahman. If Shiva united with Shakti, if Shiva is capable to bring about this most mysterious creation, without the association with the Shakti, Shiva is not in a position to make even the slightest move. Not even a single spandana is possible without Shakti. So in that great verse, Shankaracharya is saying that whatever we are seeing here, it is all nothing but the play of Shakti. Brahman and Brahman's Shakti. The Shakti is not different from Brahman. This is the very important principle of the Vedanta. So what is the connection between Brahman and Shakti? Shankaracharya says, just like fire and its burning power, Agni Ushnavat, just like Agni is there and its Ushnata, its burning power. This is what is the connection between Brahman and Shakti. It is only through the Shakti that this most mysterious phenomenon of creation is possible. Now, this Navaratri is the celebration of the Shakti. Actually speaking, dear devotees, we are all seeing nothing but Divine Mother. We are all actually speaking seeing nothing but Divine Mother in so many forms. She is the cause and this creation is the effect. And the cause and effect, they are not two different things. The effect is nothing but the cause in a manifested form. So, if Shakti is the one who is creating this creation is nothing but the Divine Mother manifested in so many forms. Actually speaking, we are seeing nothing but Divine Mother in so many forms with the open eyes. But the problem is that the common man cannot, usually speaking, perhaps is not ready for this kind of a vision, seeing divinity with the open eyes. So for the common man, we need some rituals and puja. So that is what is the importance of the so-called Durga Puja or any such puja in which the image of Shakti becomes very prominent. This Pratima which we are seeing here, this Pratima is a Pratika. Pratika means it's a symbol of that Divine Mother. In and through this symbol, all of us are getting connected with that Divine Mother who is the very source of this creation. So, this method of communing and becoming one with the Divine Mother is a very powerful method of spiritual sadhana. So, this Durga Puja and all such pujas are actually nothing but the different ways of connecting with the Divine Mother. Now, let me make one point very clear. I have just 30 minutes to talk. And this is a very vast subject to talk about the significance of Shakti Puja.
Sorry, I have requested Maharaj to speak for half an hour. Now it is extended up to 40 minutes.
Thank you, Maharaj. So I am feeling more comfortable. Actually, I was just wondering how is it possible to talk about Devi Mahatmyam in 30 minutes? It's a book of 700 verses anyway. So, without wasting time, let us go into the main subject. So, if we have to understand the significance of Durga Puja, the best way is to study Devi Mahatmyam. In Devi Mahatmyam, when we study Devi Mahatmyam, in and through that you will understand what we are doing here in the name of Puja. So, the entire Devi Mahatmyam is nothing but the glorifying and the glorification of this great Shakti, which is everywhere and which is everything. Just imagine, devotees, I am talking to you. My tongue is moving. This voice which is coming out from me, this is all Shakti. Without the presence of Divine Mother, I won't be able to utter even a single word. Can you imagine? We cannot, my hands are moving, your body is moving. How is this moving becoming possible? It's all nothing but that Divine Mother playing in so many forms. Actually speaking, we are all seeing nothing but Shakti and Shakti and Shakti alone. This is the great principle of Vedanta. Vedanta says everything is divine. So why is that we are not understanding that everything is divine? Because our vision is not clear yet. So, by Guru Kripa and by the infinite Kripa of this Divine Mother, we shall be able to see that divinity with our open eyes. So the Shakti is everything. This Shakti is the one thing which is actually deluding everybody here. She deludes, she illumines, she binds, she liberates. She is life, she is death, she is health, she is disease, she is joy, she is suffering. She is in all these forms. She is a mixture of all these dualities. So we should understand, it is this Divine Mother who is manifesting in all these so-called mutually opposite qualities which we experience in life. This is the glory of Divine Mother. So we should be able to see this Divine Mother in everything. Not only in good things of life. Divine Mother is there even in suffering. It is all nothing but this Divine Mother in so many forms. Now, as I said, if we have to understand the glory of this Durga Puja and Shakti Puja, the best thing is to go to this great text called Devi Mahatmyam. This Devi Mahatmyam is also called as Durga Saptashati, and it is also referred to as Chandi. And this Chandi, or the recitation of Devi Mahatmyam, is an inseparable part of the so-called Shakti Puja. Wherever there is Shakti Puja, the recitation of Chandi or Durga Saptashati is an inseparable part of it. So what do we find in this Devi Mahatmyam or Durga Saptashati? This Durga Saptashati is a book which has got around 700 verses. It has got 3 sections, actually speaking. And in these 700 verses, 3 sections, what is being praised is this play, this inscrutable play of the Divine Mother in so many ways. So, let me just straight away go to the topic, because the main thing that in the next 30 minutes, what I have to focus upon is, what is that we are going to learn from this great puja? What is that we are going to extract from it? We have to go back with some idea and inspiration. What is that inspiration that we have to get from this great exercise of worshipping Shakti? So in Devi Mahatmyam, the story, the first section, there are 3 sections. I'll just tell in brief. The first section, actually it is a story, starts with 2 persons, Suratha and Samadhi. The Suratha is a king and Samadhi is a merchant, is a businessman. And Suratha, what happens with Suratha is that his own ministers, they deceive him and cheat him, and being defeated in a certain war, he is forced to leave his own kingdom and he goes to the forest. I repeat, the most important point is he is being deceived by his own people. And dejected and in despondency, this Suratha is going to the forest. Now what about Samadhi? Samadhi is a successful businessman, a big merchant, a very rich man. And he is also deceived and cheated by his own wife and sons. This is what happens in life. You know, our own so-called relatives, they deceive us. And Samadhi, cheated by his own wife and sons, he also is forced to leave his house and he also comes to the forest. And then, in the forest, coincidentally, both Suratha and Samadhi, they meet each other in the forest. And they begin to share their woes, you know, both of them are suffering. Both of them have got the same problem. The Suratha is deceived by his own ministers and his own people, and he was forced to leave his kingdom. And Samadhi is deceived by his own wife and sons. and both of them have got their own sorrows to share. And when they were sharing, one thing which was very noteworthy is that though they were deceived by their own people, this is a very important point, and this is what exactly happens with all of us. Though both of them were deceived by their own people, they were still deeply attached to their family members. Surata was constantly thinking about his kingdom and his people and his ministers. Even in the forest, he could not overcome his attachment for his kingdom and his people, those very people who had cheated him and deceived him. Similarly, Samadhi also was thinking about his wife and sons. His wife and sons literally hated him. But Samadhi could not overcome his attachment for his wife and sons. So this is a very striking feature of this Durga Saptashati. This Chandi starts with this phenomenon of attachment for our own so-called Ami Amar, my wife, my children, my husband, my children, my wealth. We are all attached to these things in so many ways, even though we get kicks from them. Even though we get deceived by overcome this attachment for our own people. It is not becoming possible. Why? Please make us understand. See, dear devotees, this is our problem. This attachment. Attachment for so-called me and mine. This is how, now, from there, Vedas Rishis, his discourse starts. So why is that we get attached? So Vedas says, it is because of this great Shakti, which is called Maha Maya. It is by this Maha Maya's deluding power that everybody in this creation is trapped with the different objects with which people are dealing with. Jnanamasti samastasya janto vishaya gochare, Chandi says. Jnanamasti samastasya janto vishaya gochare. Vedas Rishi says that everyone is busy with objects, sense objects. And we are all trapped by these sense objects in so many forms. They may be your relatives, near and dear ones. They may be the different objects of pleasures. And everybody, all creatures, not only human beings, all animals, all creatures are attached to the different objects through this disease of attachment. And this is owing to the deluding power of this great Maha Maya, the great Shakti, the great deluder, which has deluded this entire creation, and the entire creation is looking outside. Everybody is busy looking outside. No one is looking inside. That is the biggest lesson that we have to learn. So if this is the main reason why all the creatures are attached to the things of the world, then it is only by worshipping this Divine Mother that we can overcome this problem. So then Vedas Rishi starts describing, how this Divine Mother, she is the one who is deluding this entire world, and she is the one who can save us from this predicament. And then we have, in the first chapter, it is, in this creation we have two kinds of forces functioning. One is the force of dharma and the other the force of adharma. One is the force of evil and other is the force of good. And whenever there is an increase in adharma, it is the Divine Mother who comes and puts an end to this adharma. So you have the story of, the first section, there is a story of Madhukaitapa Vadham. Divine Mother, she comes and she kills these two demons, Madhu and Kaitapa. I am not going into the details of that story. And the second section we come across the great war between Divine Mother Ma Durga and Mahishasura, which comes in the second chapter, second section. And in the third section we come across Divine Mother putting an end to Shumbha and Nishumbha. These are all you will find in the Chandi. Shumbha and Nishumbha. So anyway, Now, what is the lesson that we have to learn from this? Let me just come to that point. If you just look into this, all the three stories in which in the first story, you will find Divine Mother killing Madhukaitaba. In the second story, you will find Ma Durga fighting with Mahishasura. And the picturization of the episode is so graphic and so horrific. It is very interesting. And it is all symbolical. It is all great symbolism you can find it in. And in the third chapter, we find the killing of Shumba and Nishumba. Now from this, let me just draw some conclusions. What is the conclusion that we have to draw from these chapters? You see, Divine Mother is the killer and the destroyer of these demons. It has got two significance. One is individual and the other is social. Now, this is the most important aspect of this talk actually. The question is, what is that we have to learn from the Shakti Puja? That is the main point. What are we doing here? It is not just an act of some ritual. Actually speaking, we have to learn the essence of this ritual. What is this ritual actually signifying? So, the main point is, these demons which the Divine Mother is killing, these demons are residing inside each one of us. These demons called Madhukaitaba and Mahishasura and Shumba Nishumba, they are all inside us. And which are these demons? They are the Shadripus. Shadripus, you know, the 6 enemies which are inside us. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the demons which are residing in each one of us. And it is only, now if we have to put an end to these demons, we need Shakti. It is just like, in a war-like situation, if you have the enemies in front of you, can you face the enemies without Shakti? This is the important thing that we have to learn from this great exercise. Shakti Puja is the worship of Shakti, power. Remember, without Shakti, there is no regeneration for the humankind. Swami Vivekananda's words. So, these enemies which are inside us, if we have to kill these enemies, we need the anugraha, the grace of Shakti. It is only by her anugraha, her grace, that we can overcome these enemies called Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. They are all terrific enemies. Remember, my dear devotees, why do we suffer in life? All our suffering is only owing to the play of these 6 enemies. As long as our heart is a playground for these enemies to play, these enemies in the form of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, so long no one can be happy in life. It is only when we succeed in defeating these enemies can we become, truly speaking, enlightened and happy. Now this is the individual significance. This is actually the spiritual significance. Spiritually speaking, it is only when we defeat these enemies, only then we can have Atma Gyan. Sri Ramakrishna says, what do we find in Sri Ramakrishna's life? Vanchana Kama Kanchana Ati Nindita Indriya Rag. As long as this Kama and Kanchana and the attachment for Kama and Kanchana is existing in us, so long you can never attain Khandana Bhava Bandhana. This Khandana Bhava Bandhana is impossible without overcoming the disease of Kama and Kanchana. And how can we overcome this disease? By the grace of the Shakti. When we have the anugraha of Shakti, Divine Mother, then and then alone can we overcome this disease of Kama and Kanchana. Now this is the individual significance, the spiritual significance of this great puja, Durga Puja, by which we are invoking, we are awakening the Divine Mother's grace, by whose grace we succeed in defeating these enemies. Now, it has got a social significance also. This is also equally important. And this is what I want to stress today. In today's this talk, I want to stress this point. Individual spiritual significance is important, absolutely important. No man, no woman can be happy as long as, by the grace of the Divine Mother, we don't succeed in killing these enemies who are inside each one of us. This is one aspect of it. There is another aspect of it, the social aspect of it. The social aspect of it is equally important, and in today's scenario, I shall say it is more important. What is the social significance of this Shakti Puja? Number one, remember, what is the place of woman in our society? This is the first point that we have to understand. Every woman is the form of the Divine Mother, nothing less than that. Today we come to know all kinds of things happening with our women folk in this country. That is the saddest chapter with which we have to deal with. Every day we get news how women are mishandled. Now, how are we going to face this challenge? This is a very important thing. The remedy to this disease is awakening of the Shakti. We have to awaken this Mahishasura Mardini spirit. This awakening, this worship of Ma Durga as Mahishasura Mardini. Just imagine what a beautiful thing it is. She is Ramya Kapardini. Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardini Ramya Kapardini Shaila Sute. She is Ramya Kapardini. Ramya Kapardini means she is beautiful with locked hairs. But if she is beautiful, if she is soft, she also has got her terrifying side. She is merciless. She is infinitely strong. She can vanquish the enemies. So by worshipping Ma Durga, it is actually the awakening of this other side which is hidden in all of us. So all of our women folk should understand, they are not weak. They are all powerful. If situation demands, they should know how to become ruthless. This is the other side of this entire Shakti Puja. You will see, if you read the whole Chandi, it is all Ma Durga's merciless and ruthless vanquishing of the enemies. It is all Shakti, Shakti and Shakti and power, valor, strength. There is not one drop of weakness anywhere. This is the one lesson that we have to learn. Especially the women folk, if they may have to face such situations, in such situations they should know they can do anything and everything because that Shakti is inside them. They only need to awaken this sleeping, dormant Shakti which is inside each one of us. Second point. This Swami Vivekananda also used to speak, in this second chapter of the Durga Saptashati, where Ma Durga comes to kill Mahishasura. How did Ma Durga come into existence? You know the story? I hope all of you know. When Mahishasura had taken over all the heavens, all the gods were running helter-skelter. And these gods, they went to Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha saying that what to do, Mahishasura has come and he has conquered our heavens and we are helpless. Please help us. And then what happened? That is the most important thing. All these gods were having powers. They had powers with them, but their powers were all scattered. If our powers are scattered, we cannot face the enemy. Shall we be able to face the enemies if our powers are scattered? No. The first thing that we have to do is we have to unify all the powers. How was Ma Durga born? Ma Durga was the product, or Ma Durga was born out of the unified powers of all the gods and goddesses. That is the most fascinating aspect of the second section where Ma Durga is killing Mahishasura. So what we call Ma Durga, she is the unification of all the scattered forces, and that is what is taking the form of Ma Durga. So if we have to defeat any enemy, one big lesson that we have to learn is we have to become unified. Amazing. Swami Vivekananda was a great Shakti Pujak. 125 years back, he had spoken about this, that we have to accumulate power. 125 years back, he had given one talk. He was talking about how to regenerate India. And he had seen that India had faced downfall only because we Indians were not unified. Just imagine the power of unification. 4 crore Englishmen, they were ruling 30 crore Indians. Swamiji says, how is it possible? Just 4 crore Englishmen, Britishers, they were ruling 30 crore Indians. How is it possible? Because the 4 crore Englishmen, they were unified, and we 30 crore Indians, we were disunified. And Swamiji says, if India has to rise again, he gave 3 mantras. He was a great Shakti Pujaka. He gave 3 mantras. Please note it down, my dear devotees. This is very important as far as the society of India is concerned, as far as the Hindu society is concerned. Why? Swamiji says, how can we regenerate India? How can we regenerate Hindu society? It is very important. Swamiji says 3 things. We have to be unified. He says organization, number 1. Number 2, coordination of wills. And number 3, accumulation of power. These are Swami Vivekananda's words. He says that we have to accumulate power. We have to accumulate Shakti. Without the accumulation of Shakti, we cannot face the enemies. How can you face the enemies if your strength is scattered, if your energy is scattered? We have to become unified, organized. This Swami Vivekananda had spoken about this 125 years back. Just imagine his relevance. And he is talking about accumulation of power, accumulation of Shakti. If Shakti is scattered, with that scattered energy, we won't be able to face the evils of the society. So that is what we find in Ma Durga. What is this Ma Durga? She is the unified manifestation of all the powers of gods and goddesses. So beautiful and so symbolical. Today, that is what we have to learn. We as 140 crore people in this country, because we are not unified, that is why evil forces are actually causing harm to us. Especially the Hindu society. We are not unified. The first thing that we have to learn from the Shakti Puja is, today we need the awakening of Shakti to face these evil forces. In our own society, you will find so many evil forces working. We know what is happening in our neighboring countries. We all know. We are just shutting our eyes to it. We need Shakti to face this situation. Remember this. Swami Vivekananda was a great teacher of strength. Weakness is the one thing which Vivekananda hated. Weakness is the one thing which Vivekananda literally hated. He was a great teacher of Shakti and Shakti, strength and strength and strength. In present situation in India and the Hindu society, one of the main defects of this society is that we are not unified. Let us become unified like Durga and see we shall be able to face all these evil forces which are trying to make this country weak, which is trying to break down this country. So this is one great symbolic lesson that we have to learn from the 2nd chapter of Chandi. Durga is the unification of all these. She is the product. She was born out of the unified Shaktis of all the gods and goddesses. The secret is unification. Last point, and I will say that and I will just wind up my talk. Now, throughout this Chandi, you will see, it is a war. Literally speaking, it is a war going on. It is a war against what? It's a war against adharma. Adharma has to be fought. Remember this point. Let us not talk about ahimsa here. Somebody came in the last century and he made unconditional practice of ahimsa a compulsory thing which has literally weakened this country. What we want is strength, capacity to resist evil. Swamiji has spoken about this very wonderfully. Absolute ahimsa can be practiced only by a small number of people. And for the common man and the common woman, remember, we should learn to resist evil. Whenever there is adharma, we should learn to resist it. There are 3 situations, especially in my assessment, which is very important. We have to fight back and not talk about ahimsa in 3 situations. Number 1, when our country is in danger, what will you do? You will talk about ahimsa? When our country is in danger, you will sit and talk about ahimsa. You have to fight back. Number 1, for fighting back, you need Shakti. Is it not? Can you fight back because without Shakti? You need Shakti, you need this divine, you need the Mahishasura Mardini spirit. She is Asura Mardini. We need this energy which can kill the demons. So first thing, to protect your country, to protect your Rashtra. Second thing, to protect your dharma. When your dharma is under threat, what will you do? You will talk about ahimsa. You have to fight back all those evil forces which are causing danger to your own dharma. This is another lesson that we have to learn. Let us not talk about, what should I say? There is no samanvaya with the forces of evil. This is dharma samanvaya, not adharma samanvaya. I always say this. Samanvaya is not with the forces of adharma. There cannot be any friendship with forces of adharma. Adharma has to be vanquished in whichever form it is. Number 3, when the honor of our daughters and sisters are in danger. Tell me, when the honor of our own daughters and sisters are in danger, will you be talking about ahimsa? This is nonsense. You should learn to fight back, to preserve the honor of our own daughters and sisters and wives. Is it not? So ahimsa, the practice of ahimsa, it is conditional. It depends upon the circumstances and situations. In all situations, you cannot do that. For the common man, the teaching is you have to resist evil. And if you have to resist evil, you need Shakti. Now, this is the great message that we have to actually learn from the Shakti Puja. To wind up this talk, I'm not going to drag it any further. This great Maharaj is so kind. Actually, I am feeling a little uncomfortable because the puja is going on there. See, my dear devotees, we have to remember this point. So this ahimsa, we have been deluded with this idea. India has become weak because of that. Our neighbors have been hitting us repeatedly and we have been just sitting quiet. It is only in the last 10 years that we have learned to give it back. It should be like that. We should know how to protect our country, number 1, Rashtra. We should know how to defend our dharma, Sanatana Dharma. Attacks on Sanatana Dharma is happening continuously. Are you going to keep quiet? Wherever our dharma is attacked, you have to condemn it. You have to resist this evil. And lastly, as I said, when the honor of our own sisters and daughters are in danger, please don't talk this nonsensical idea of ahimsa. You have to fight it back. And for all this, my dear devotees, you need Shakti. Without Shakti, it is impossible. We have to be united. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, without Shakti, there is no regeneration for the society. So, my dear devotees, this is the extract of this wonderful Shakti Puja. We should remember that it is by awakening this Mahishasura Mardini spirit. It is only by awakening this spirit that we can, really speaking, make our country and our society what it is. So, that line from Aigiri Nandini, the last one, Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardini Ramya Kapardini Shaila Sute. This Mahishasura Mardini spirit, this is the one spirit with which we have to go back from this so-called puja. Saying this, I just wind up my talk. Once again, I convey my thanks to revered Swami Sarvalokananji, who invited me to give this talk. I know this situation is a little bit chaotic, but doesn't matter. It's a great occasion. So let us learn this lesson that when we go back from this puja, we should understand that this Mahishasura Mardini spirit, the martial spirit, this martial spirit is very much essential today in India. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat.